The story begins with a hard-working man named Nor, who is well respected by everyone in town for his work ethic, earning a decent living through various jobs. One day, while being paid, Nor hears a girl calling for help. He rushes into a cave and finds her being attacked by a ferocious beast. Flashback to 15 years ago. A young Nor is making medicine for his sick mother. As he prepares to bring in the goats, his mother reminds him not to go beyond a certain rock. Despite her severe illness, she apologizes for not being able to do more for him and urges him to live the life he wants. That night, Nor makes dinner, but he's terrified to find his mother has passed away. The next day, he puts her to rest and starts learning how to live on his own. Nor's life is filled with responsibility, but he is alone. One night, he finds a book that triggers a memory of his father reading to him about an adventurer who slayed a dragon with his friends, learned magic from a sorcerer, and broke a curse. The adventurers group was highly respected for their bravery and camaraderie. Inspired by the story and his mother's words, Nor decides to become an adventurer. Leaving town for the first time, Nor marvels at the royal capital and arrives at the Adventurers Guild. However, the clerk tells him to leave, suggesting he go back to his parents. Nor explains they have passed away, and the clerk warms up to him, explaining that to register at the royal capital's Adventurers Guild, one must first take lessons at the royal training schools. Excited by the prospect of learning magic and swordsmanship, Nor eagerly enrolls. At the School of Heroes, Nor can only watch as his classmates unlock their magical powers. His instructor, tired of waiting for Nor to unlock his powers, advises him to try a different path. Nor then tries the School for Warriors, where training is grueling, but he only improves slightly. Advised to try hunter training, then thief training, and finally magic training, Nor struggles with each, unable to excel. Even at the cleric training, he can barely heal scratches. The clerk at the guild is shocked by Nor's inability to learn any useful skills after 3 months of training at each school. Nor, realizing he is no prodigy, returns home. However, he is determined and trains rigorously, focusing on the one skill he acquired, parrying. After a year, he can evade 10 swords in one breath, and after 3 years, he can evade 100. Despite his improvement, he still has no new skills. 10 years later, Nor can parry 1,000 wooden swords but still has no new skills. Determined to try one last time, he returns to the capital. The clerk recognizes him and is glad to hear he has been training, though Nor reveals his progress has been minimal. The clerk explains that adventurers are ranked from E to S, and Nor's skills do not qualify him for even the lowest rank. However, there is an F rank for those with minimal skills. Nor eagerly accepts this opportunity. Nor begins working around town, using his minimal skills to help people. He enhances his strength, catches a cat, heals scratches, and entertains kids with his tiny flame. Nor is thrilled to have finally become an adventurer. Back to the present, Nor encounters a monster attacking people in a cave. The captain of the guards is killed, and the monster eradicates the other guards. Nor uses his stone throw attack to get the beast's attention and parries its attack, realizing he must protect the girl. Despite his broken sword, Nor declares he wants to protect her, remembering his father's words about adventurers striking down evil for the weak. Nor parries the beast's attack perfectly, severing its head. Nor reflects on the fight, realizing how challenging it was and how unprepared he is for real adventures. The girl thanks him for saving her life, and Nor humbly responds that he's no one important. That night, Nor acknowledges the difficulty of the battle and determines to continue training even harder. In the aftermath of the battle against the beast, a knight named Inuz apologizes to Princess Lin for not being there to protect her. Lin assures Inuz that it's okay, as it was her decision to go without an escort during the trials for the throne. Lin's brother, Rain, speculates that someone might have summoned the Minotaur, a demon from the deepest layer of the dungeon, to the city. A ring found on a merchant's corpse at the scene, originating from the magic empire of Doris, suggests their involvement. Rain shifts the conversation to the mysterious man who saved Lin. The report describes how this man, wielding a single broadsword, defeated the Minotaur in seconds before vanishing. This unbelievable feat leaves Rain pondering the man's identity. At the guild, the old clerk is surprised to see Nor is still alive, having heard of a demon near the dungeon entrance. Nor explains that he was busy evading a strange group of people, but downplays the encounter. The clerk informs Nor that a mysterious man defeated the demon, to which Nor reacts with amazement at such prowess. The clerk offers Nor a better job opportunity, interrupted by Lin's arrival. Lin uses her detection skills to find Nor and apologizes for the intrusion, wanting to thank him for saving her life. They step outside to avoid eavesdroppers. Nor initially doubts Lin's intent, but the clerk encourages him to go. Lin explains her gratitude and offers various rewards, all of which Nor humbly declines. Lin insists, leading Nor to agree to meet her father. At Lin's house, Nor meets Inez and another man named Gilbert, who is skeptical of Nor. Lin introduces Nor to her father, the king, who thanks Nor for saving his daughter. Despite Nor's reluctance to accept rewards, the king offers treasures from the dungeon and a priceless sword. Nor finally accepts the sword, which the king claims is just a decoration. The king asks Nor to help toughen up Lin, but Nor believes parents shouldn't interfere too much in their children's lives. The king agrees, and Nor prepares to leave. Inez apologizes for her earlier behavior, revealing her role as the Divine Shield and vice captain of the Clay Family Warrior Corps. She pledges her loyalty to Nor, though she insists on proper conduct when addressing the king in the future. Nor introduces himself formally, surprising Inez, and then faces a challenge from Gilbert, demanding to see his battle skills. Nor is exhausted and eager to go home, so he is shocked when Gilbert insists on having a mock battle. Nor, who hasn't had a training partner since attending those schools 14 years ago, has no clue what to expect. Gilbert, known for his fighting skills, instructs Nor to choose a weapon. Recognizing this as a valuable opportunity for a budding adventurer, Nor picks a sword and declares himself ready for battle. He doesn't think he will be much of a challenge for Gilbert and plans to use the battle to train with someone more skillful. The troops watching feel bad for Nor as he prepares to fight their captain, fearing for his life. Gilbert initiates the battle, but Nor easily dodges his attacks. Nor is amazed by Gilbert's polished movements and controlled pace, but he can't understand why Gilbert seems so slow. He assumes Gilbert is holding back and tells him not to. Gilbert, realizing he may have underestimated Nor, increases his speed. Despite this, Nor continues to dodge effortlessly, thinking Gilbert is still not taking him seriously. Frustrated, Gilbert decides to show Nor a different move, but Nor avoids it easily and comments that it wasn't even close to hitting him. Nor begins to wonder if Gilbert is already giving it his all and starts to consider that he might have gotten stronger from his solitary training. Just as Nor begins to think he might actually win, Gilbert uses an incredibly powerful attack. When the dust clears, Nor is gone. He reappears and declares Gilbert the winner, which horrifies Gilbert. After Nor leaves, the troops are bewildered by how Nor avoided their captain's powerful attack, rationalizing that the wind force from Gilbert's practice spear sent Nor flying. Gilbert is upset, reflecting on his past. He recalls how natural it felt the first time he held a spear, how he trained and polished his technique, and how he went from village to village defeating the strongest fighters, eventually defeating everyone in the royal capital. He returned to the capital to hunt demons and challenge formidable opponents, but grew frustrated by the lack of worthy challengers. Gilbert now thinks about how Nor, the man who defeated a Minotaur alone, makes no sense. Nor's behavior in front of the king and his lack of interest in lavish gifts didn't fit the profile of someone who could take down a monster alone. But their battle showed Gilbert something different. Nor's casual comment to speed up made Gilbert use his full force, and for the first time, Gilbert was thoroughly defeated in a head-on battle. Nor's surrender seemed to be to avoid embarrassing Gilbert in front of his subordinates. making it even more humiliating. Gilbert becomes excited, realizing things are finally getting interesting. Back with Nor, he realizes he was foolish to think he was getting stronger. He used strength enhancement and feather step, but believes he only evaded Gilbert's attack because Gilbert held back. Determined to get stronger, Nor returns to doing low-rank tasks. He is amazed by how well his new sword cleans drains and is glad that his ditch cleaning job is going well, allowing him to stop his soil hauling job for a while. Nor wants to be useful to people with his great sword, though his abilities are still limited. Lin appears and reminds Nor to be more formal in front of royalty, which she quickly dismisses. She requests to be his page, explaining that a page takes care of everyday necessities while learning techniques and absorbing knowledge. Nor refuses, feeling unqualified to teach her and insisting he doesn't need assistance. Lin, who has achieved the highest marks in all 6 training schools, proves her abilities with a grand display of magic and combat skills, but Nor remains unconvinced. Lin demonstrates various powerful techniques, but Nor shows her the extent of his abilities with a tiny flame. As Lin heads home, she reflects on the stories of a young boy with no talent who completed rigorous training at all the royal capital schools. She realizes Nor's humble demeanor and extraordinary skills make him a unique figure worth following. Determined to learn from Nor, Lin resolves to stay by his side until he recognizes her as his page, believing that the strength her royal family seeks resides within Nor. Rain is upset about his father giving the black blade to someone of unknown lineage. His father found the sword in the deepest corner of the Dungeon of the Lost, an incredibly dangerous quest that yielded the strange sword. The blade is made of an unknown material that is harder than any other, and nothing could even make a scratch on it. Because of this, it came to be known as the Unbreakable Blade. The sword was already pretty beaten up when it was found, which made everyone question what kind of powerful force could have damaged it so. The sword has unimaginable value, so Rain can't understand why the king just gave it away. However, Rain changes his way of thinking, realizing there is a sense of unrest hanging over their country. He determines that his father must be counting on Nor for some reason, the man who defeated a minotaur alone and saved Lin's life, possibly as a secret weapon for the future. Elsewhere, Nor is with Lin, who wonders if it's okay for a princess to just be out like this, but she insists she's an adventurer first. Lin refers to Nor as her instructor, though Nor wishes she wouldn't. Nor's attempts to clear things up have failed, and Lin keeps following him everywhere. Nor plans to get some work from the guild, hoping Lin will see how simple a person he really is. At the guild, the clerk wonders why Nor is with the princess, but Lin insists on being called by her name since she is an adventurer. They decide to take a goblin hunting job just outside the capital. Nor is shocked because goblins are typically used by adventurers to test their skills. He feels bad for taking advantage of Lin's adventurer rank, but is honored when she excitedly agrees to form a party with him. Despite his initial reluctance, Nor's excitement about his dream coming true overrides his concerns. The clerk warns them that the job, while low rank, can still be dangerous. It will take place in the Forest of the Beasts, and they must bring back the ear of a goblin as proof of a successful hunt. If they don't find any goblins, they should gather herbs instead. As they leave the capital and enter the forest, they notice it's getting darker. Lin explains that goblins hunt small animals and eat fruits, but have been attacking humans recently, which could lead to a food shortage and human village invasions. It's essential to control their numbers without hunting them to extinction. Lin suddenly senses a monster nearby, and they find a mutilated goblin. Lin uses reveal magic, exposing a giant goblin, the Goblin Emperor, a genetically manipulated monster that eats its kind to grow stronger. Nor is clueless and thinks this is what goblins normally look like, but Lin, though terrified, is amazed by Nor's confidence. She mistakenly believes Nor took this job to eliminate this unknown threat. They prepare to fight the Goblin Emperor. Nor uses his parry ability to fend off the beast's attacks, but the goblin proves incredibly powerful. Lin determines the goblin's rapid healing is due to a mana crystal on its forehead. As Nor fends off the goblin's attacks, Lin uses her wind blast to enhance Nor's speed, allowing him to knock the crystal off the goblin's forehead. The goblin goes berserk, and Lin finishes it off with fire, ignoring Nor's wish for a painless death for the creature. Nor decides not to hunt goblins again until he's stronger. Later, Rain hears about the Goblin Emperor's defeat and is shocked by Nor and Lin's success. The guild opens an investigation into the strange incidents. Back at the guild, Nor is humble about his victory, crediting Lin. He celebrates his first successful hunt, despite not having the goblin's ear for proof, as they burnt the goblin to ashes. Rain discovers from some documents that an enemy has infiltrated deep into his country. Alarmed, he urgently deploys troops to strategic locations and summons all 6 of the country's heroes. Frustrated with himself for not uncovering this sooner, Rain curses the magical empire for their ruthless pursuit of the dungeon's resources, indifferent to the innocent lives at stake. Meanwhile, back with our hero, Nor, we learn that the guild master had done him a favor by compensating him despite Nor not bringing back a goblin ear from his hunt. Nor and Lin finish celebrating his first successful hunt with a feast, after which Lin decides to head home. Lin wonders if her teacher will be okay with her leaving, and Nor assures her it's fine, expressing gratitude for her help. Just then, Rain appears with an urgent request. He asks Nor to take Lin to the mountains the next morning, offering transportation but withholding details. Sensing the gravity of the situation, Nor agrees. The following morning, Nor reflects that his real motivation for agreeing to the journey was to experience traveling by carriage for the first time. Having never left the capital, the journey excites him more than the money he is being paid to escort Lin. He dreams of becoming a true adventurer and exploring different countries. Observing Lin's unease, Nor encourages her to enjoy the scenery. Lin apologizes for dragging Nor into the situation, but he insists he owes her for helping him with the goblin. Flashbacks reveal that Rain instructed them to wait in the mountains and, if nothing strange happens, proceed to a place called Mithra. Lin hopes for a peaceful journey, but Inyus, who has secret orders from Rain, is prepared for crisis. Rain warned her that if the royal capital is destroyed, she must take Nor and Lin to Mithra. Though reluctant to leave during an emergency, Inyus's primary duty is to protect them. Lin apologizes to Nor for involving him, but Nor remains laid back, thinking of the trip as an adventure. He's confident he can protect himself if needed. He is surprised to learn that Inyus possesses a shield, which she reveals is actually a shield of light impenetrable by weapons or magic. Nor recalls fighting someone at the castle, whom he nicknames Armadillo, and learns from Lin that Armadillo is skilled enough to have defeated a dragon alone. He realizes Inyus is similarly powerful. Inyus shares her past, explaining that she discovered her mysterious power in an orphanage, where it accidentally hurt a girl. Her power was deemed a divine gift by the heroes, a rare ability that could either destroy or protect an entire country. Inyus was trained by Dan, one of the heroes, and the others, but always feared harming someone again. This fear made her keep her distance from others. However, her curiosity was piqued when Dan wished that a person named Nor was still around during a crisis. Inyus became envious of this mysterious Nor, admired by her adoptive father. Meeting Nor intensified her curiosity, though she remains determined to protect Lin. Suddenly, they notice a strange path in a field. Lin uses her uncover spell to reveal a monster. Back at the royal capital, the king acknowledges the attack has begun and learns they lack enough soldiers to fight the monsters. Rain takes charge, planning to combat the monsters and evacuate citizens. The king curses Darius for fulfilling his threat, fearing this is only the beginning. Rain informs him that the 6 heroes have been dispatched across the capital. Amidst the chaos, a group is attacked by giant goblins, but the heroes arrive to assist, providing some reliefs. Back with Lin and Nor, a child appears with a dragon, determined to attack someone. When Lin shatters the dragon's barrier, the dragon pushes the child away. Inyus recognizes the black dragon and wonders why such a ferocious beast is there. She tries to stop Nor as he charges to help the child, but it's too late. Inyus suspects the child, already with the demon, might be controlling the dragon. Rain had warned Lin about demon folk demihumans who can mentally bond with monsters and manipulate them. They nearly destroyed Mithra and were believed extinct, but their descendants appear to have survived. Rain advised Lin to avoid them as they hold deep hatred for humans. Inyus confirms that the child is controlling the dragon and likely planned to unleash it on the royal capital. She explains the child lost control when the barrier broke and is shocked at Nor's reckless bravery. Lin wants to help Nor, but Inyus refuses, prioritizing Lin's safety. Nor believes he can manage until the girls back him up, but the dragon charges an energy blast. Knowing the child will be hurt if he dodges, Nor attacks the dragon, but black liquid seeps from his body. Inyus explains it is the dragon's poison. Nor realizes he is paralyzed by the poison, unable to move. The dragon is known as the Black Death Dragon because it eliminates everything it touches. Lin tries to aid Nor, but Inyus stops her, warning about a larger poisonous mist. Lin insists on helping, but Inyus argues her duty is to protect Lin, ensuring her survival as the kingdom's only hope. Inyus apologizes to Nor, wanting to save everyone, but prioritizing her duty. Just as the dragon releases its poison, Inyus shields Lin, promising to keep her safe. Lin's purification fails, and birds fall from the sky. Inyus apologizes to Nor, whose only choice is to run away. Suddenly, a dragon claw falls before the girls, shocking them to see Nor still fighting. Though gravely injured, Nor's determination reminds Inyus of why Dan wished Nor was still around. Nor's resilience and selflessness in protecting others inspire Inyus, realizing he embodies the true spirit of a hero. Despite reaching his limit, Nor feels a strange relief, believing he can make things work after all. In the depths of a dark prison, a group of children languished, imprisoned simply because they were born with the power to control magical beasts. Labeled as worthless brats, they were barely fed and treated as cursed beings. Among them, one child was told that the purpose of their power was merely to control livestock. But when one of these demihumans used their power to control monsters during a war and caused great destruction, humans turned against the demon folk and hunted them down. This child, in particular, suffered relentless torment in the prison, and any attempt to speak resulted in further punishment. Despite having the ability to read people's minds, this power only worsened his situation when the humans discovered it. No matter the cruelty inflicted upon him, the child never contemplated retaliation, even though he deeply resented the treatment he received. He held on to the hope that he would never harm anyone. One day, the prison's overseer made the child an offer. If he used his power to control monsters for them, he would no longer be beaten and would receive ample food for himself and the other children. If he refused, their suffering would worsen. Unable to read the overseer's mind due to a device blocking his power, the child decided to trust him in hopes of ending everyone's torment. Later, the child was sent to the capital with orders to unleash monsters upon it. However, before he could carry out the orders, a barrier was destroyed by someone named Lin, and the child, feeling he had failed, resigned himself to his fate. He was relieved to have never harmed anyone and wished that, if reborn, he would not suffer so much in his next life. He hoped to be useful to someone and bid farewell to the world, only to be rescued by Nor. The child was confused about why someone would fight for him and worried for Nor, who was poisoned by a dragon. Surprisingly, Nor managed to stop the child's bleeding and prevented further poisoning. As the battle with the dragon intensified, Nor, who had a history of surviving poisons, used his experience to stay alive. Despite his low-level healing ability, Nor had developed a tolerance for poisons through years of consuming them, finding a peculiar taste for the poisonous. Returning to the present, Nor, undaunted by the poisonous frog they were fighting, was determined to enjoy it as a delicacy. He knew from experience that a bit of blood loss was no big deal. The child was amazed by Nor's ability to take on such a monster alone. Despite the beast's menacing attack, Nor used his parry skill to send its final strike into the sky, defeating it. Nor, thinking the frog was intended as food for the city, misunderstood the child's intention. He believed the child raised the frog to sell it and apologized for ruining the delivery. The child confessed that he brought the monster there by controlling it, astounding Nor with his power. Nor learned that the child, Rollo, was born with this ability, as were all demon folk. While others feared and despised him for it, Nor found the ability incredibly useful and wished he had it himself. Rollo, touched by Nor's acceptance, broke down in disbelief, wondering if he could truly be needed. As Nor tended to the child, the girls arrived, ready to treat Nor's wounds. Lin was amazed that he had survived the deadly miasma from the monster. Nor's resilience reminded her of a technique called the Sacred Spirit, which purifies and heals but takes years to master. Nor's strength defied belief, yet he only wished to help Rollo. Lin, realizing her prejudice, accepted Rollo as just a child in need, not a dangerous demon folk. However, Inus hesitated, knowing Mithra prohibited demon folk entry. Leaving Rollo alone seemed cruel, but taking him along was risky, as Mithra might see them as enemies. Their difficult decision was interrupted by the arrival of a mysterious and dangerous man, signaling a new threat. The mysterious man reveals that he was hired by the person who sent Rollo to make his delivery. Nor apologizes for interfering with their plans, but the man doesn't care. He explains that he's only after the kid, Rollo, who is worth a significant amount of money. His mission is to take Rollo back, and he notes that his client would prefer if Rollo were eliminated, as it would be easier to return with a body than a live child. Moving at incredible speed, the stranger launches an attack, but Nor narrowly manages to deflect it. The man coldly tells Nor that understanding his motives is irrelevant. Lin is shocked by the blinding speed of their battle, unable to keep up with the action, while Hughes urges her to stay back. The stranger continues his relentless and creative assault, but Nor counters his every move. Despite this, the stranger remains calm, aiming to decapitate Nor. Nor barely parries the blow, astonished by the power behind the man's small blade. When the stranger's blade shatters, he simply pulls out another and resumes the attack. Nor realizes he's in trouble. He's relying purely on intuition to dodge the attacks, and is wearing out from trying to protect Rollo. Lin is horrified by the sheer force of the battle, frozen in place, while Inus uses her shield to protect her. Inus suddenly recognizes the man's immense strength and realizes he is the infamous former S-rank adventurer, Zadu. Flashbacks reveal Inus's discovery of unsolved case files where Zadu, who was supposed to have been eliminated, was in fact still alive. Zadu had risen to fame as a prodigy, mastering dwarven alchemy by age 13 and earning the title of Dragon Slayer. However, despite his talents, Zadu became notorious for his ruthless actions, including wiping out an entire country and royal family. Returning to the present, Inus explains to Lin that Zadu's legend only grew as he left behind a trail of dead adventurers, leading the guild to declare him dead to prevent others from pursuing him. As Nor and Zadu pause their fight, Zadu expresses frustration that his collection of seemingly unbreakable daggers has been destroyed. Nor wonders if Zadu expects compensation. Zadu, intrigued by Nor, tosses his sword into the air, where it splits into several blades in a move known as the Silver Cross, an attack that can slaughter hundreds in an instant. Zadu launches the Silver Cross at Nor, who barely manages to shield Rollo in time. Realizing the dire situation, Inus decides to intervene, despite her primary mission to protect Lin. She joins the battle just as one of Zadu's swords closes in on Nor. Inus reinforces her shields, focusing on defense to give Nora a chance to finish Zadu off. Nor, however, is unsure he can manage it, as Zadu's swords move like a living swarm. Desperately, Nor devises a plan and asks Imuse to move one of her shields on his signal. Nor then enhances himself with psychic energy, launching the fangs of a dragon he once defeated at Zadu. To Imuse's astonishment, the fangs shatter Zadu's swords. As Zadu tries to counterattack, Nor deflects his blows, breaking Zadu's adamantite daggers. Zadu, puzzled by Nor's abilities, questions him, but Nor vaguely responds that it's just something he can do. Recognizing the futility of continuing, Zadu decides to withdraw, mentioning a grand event planned at the royal capital, a development that deeply worries Imuse. Before leaving, Zadu attempts one last sneak attack, but Nor stops him again. Zadu acknowledges that Nor's presence was the only reason he failed to retrieve Rollo, and he leaves, leaving the group concerned about what lies ahead. Rollo, suddenly terrified, warns that they must not return to the royal capital, as he has heard that a monstrous threat, strong enough to obliterate the entire city, is heading there. Lin, understanding the urgency, insists that they return to warn everyone, despite Imuse's initial reluctance. Finally, Imuse agrees, urging Lin to stay by her side. As they prepare to head back, Lin reflects on the situation, taking comfort in Nor's presence, though Nor's thoughts are more mundane, focused on a poisonous frog they encountered earlier. Back at the royal capital, Rain receives reports of successful citizen evacuations, thanks to the efforts of the 6 heroes. However, he suspects another wave of attacks is imminent, possibly from the sky. His suspicions are confirmed when he spots something massive hiding in the clouds. Using his abilities, Rain breaks its barrier, revealing a terrifying sight what he first thinks might be a black dragon, but soon realizes is far worse. It is, in fact, a dragon of calamity, their worst nightmare come to life. In the past, Nor was captivated by stories his father told him about the legendary dragon slayers. These adventurers would hunt dragons, turning the valuable materials harvested from the beasts into high-quality weapons and medicines, which brought great wealth to the land. The people revered these adventurers as heroes, calling them dragon slayers. Young Nor aspired to become one himself, but his father warned him of the perils involved. Dragons, some of which have lived for thousands of years, possess immense power. They can crumble the ground with a single step and obliterate entire mountains with the swing of their tails. In fact, their nation had nearly been destroyed by dragons that ran wild in the past. Despite these warnings, Nor's desire to become a dragon slayer never waned. In the present, Nor and his group return to the capital, only to find the city in chaos. The Dragon of Calamity, a monstrous creature that has been dormant for the past 150 years, has awakened and is wreaking havoc. Lin, horrified, realizes the magnitude of the threat, while Rain questions whether the Magic Empire understands the horror they have unleashed upon the world. The dragon's very presence instills terror in everyone, and with a single flap of its wings, it causes massive destruction. Saren, one of the leaders, orders the evacuation of the capital, urging his troops to forcefully remove anyone who hesitates. One of the heroes senses that magic is being used to obstruct all evacuation routes, making it impossible for the 6 heroes to unite. Across the city, the heroes are engaged in desperate battles. Gilbert, one of the king's advisors, urges the king to flee, but the king remains resolute, instructing Gilbert to focus on getting the citizens to safety. The king, however, has his own task to complete. Nearby, Imuse, another hero, assesses the situation and determines that there is no hope left for the capital. The dragon will surely decimate it. Lin fears that her father, a powerful warrior, will sacrifice himself to protect the citizens, but she knows even he is no match for the legendary beast. Despite the dire situation, Nor remains unnervingly calm. He has never seen a dragon before, but Lin reminds him that the creature he defeated earlier was also a dragon. She explains that her father and brother are still in the capital, but it seems too late to save them. Nor, however, believes he can reach them in time if he runs. This shocks Lin, as the power required to transport him quickly enough could cause him great harm. Nor reassures her, reminding her that his sword will absorb most of the damage. He feels indebted to the people of the city and the king and wants to help them escape. Lin begins to trust Noor, realizing he is not someone to be doubted. Another flashback shows the king refusing to hand over the Dungeon of the Lost to the Magic Empire, despite their insistence that its power could create an army capable of controlling the world. The king chose not to wield such power, believing it was beyond their control. In the present, the dragon continues its rampage, and the king reflects on his failure to anticipate the empire's full might. As the capital faces destruction, all he can think about is Lin's safety. He realizes that perhaps the empire was right, he is not fit to be king and was always better suited for the battlefield. The king apologizes to his people for failing them and vows to at least take one of the dragon's eyes with him. Meanwhile, Inuz prepares to assist Noor by creating a cylinder with her shield to amplify Lin's wind blast. Noor stands in front of it, ready to amplify it further. The magic being used is far more intense than before, but Noor is unfazed. Lin apologizes in advance and, remembering not to doubt Noor, unleashes the attack. The sheer power of the blast is astonishing, and in an instant, Noor disappears from sight. Back in the capital, the king faces the dragon head-on. As the dragon prepares to unleash its elder dragon breath, a devastating attack that once burned an entire continent to ashes, the king realizes there's no chance of survival. Determined to perform one last kingly act, he draws a dagger known as the Blasting Dagger, which channels all of the wielder's mana into one powerful, sacrificial blow. The heroes watching are horrified as the king prepares to sacrifice himself. But just as he is about to strike, Noor suddenly appears, parrying the dragon's attack. Everyone is stunned as Noor, with surprising ease, shoves the legendary dragon off balance. The dragon, confused and enraged, declares that the strong must control the weak through violence, that is the law of the world. But despite its immense power, Noor continues to parry its attacks, even as the dragon's massive tail causes more destruction to the capital. Noor reflects on how he never thought he would survive, but finds that parrying the dragon's attacks is easier than expected. The dragon, frustrated and prideful, continues its assault, but Noor remains unscathed. The townspeople watch in awe as Noor, wielding his mysterious and indestructible sword, battles the dragon. The dragon, now realizing it is the weaker opponent, becomes furious. It gathers energy for a final, powerful attack, but Noor parries it once more, sending the blast harmlessly into the sky. The dragon, humiliated and defeated, submits to Noor. The townspeople, watching from afar, are in shock. Noor remembers his father's stories of adventurers who became heroes by slaying dragons and bringing wealth to the people. However, Noor sees that this dragon no longer wishes to fight. He decides to spare its life, acknowledging that he is not truly hero material. As his friends rush to his side, Noor waves to them, his calm demeanor unchanged despite the epic battle he just fought. Noor reassures everyone that he's fine and thanks Rollo for helping him, though Rue is confused. Noor then explains his realization. The dragon calmed down because Rollo must have ordered it to. However, Rollo denies doing anything, which surprises Noor. They both conclude that the dragon must have been intimidated simply by Rollo's potential to control it. Shocked, Noor asks Rollo to send the dragon back where it came from. The others, concerned about the dragon's danger, suggest eliminating it while they have the chance. Noor understands the risks but refuses to harm the beast, admitting that he's being selfish. Lin supports his decision, while Rollo, unsure of his own power, hesitates but agrees to try, reassured by Noor that neither Lin nor Inuz would fear him. With newfound courage, Rollo communicates with the dragon and reports that it's willing to obey its master's commands. The girls are stunned, but Noor, still oblivious, thinks the dragon is calling Rollo its master. Noor tells Rollo to send the dragon home and ensure it never harms humans again. Rollo relays the message, and to everyone's astonishment, the dragon complies. It flies off peacefully, but their relief turns to horror when a powerful attack knocks it from the sky. The attack is revealed to have been orchestrated by the evil leader of the empire, Darius, who smugly remarks that even a 1,000-year-old dragon is still just a beast. Disappointed that the dragon didn't destroy the capital, he decides to launch the attack himself and summons his massive army. The Empire had meticulously planned this assault. After the dragon's expected devastation, their troops, equipped with magical weapons, armor, and massive cannons, would sweep in to conquer. One soldier, Randus, had voiced concerns about the war's long-term benefits, but Darius silenced him, determined to demonstrate the Empire's might and etch their victory into history. He wants everyone to remember the foolishness of the Clay Kingdom, which he blames for neglecting the Dungeon of the Lost. Darius sees himself as the liberator of the country, purging it of its stupidity. Meanwhile, Nor and the others find the dragon but can't tell if it's alive. They soon spot the Empire's forces, who also notice them, recognizing Princess Lin and, more notably, Inuz, a legendary figure. Darius assumes Inuz saved the capital and declares that legends have no place in the new era. Wisdom will rule instead. He orders the Mona cannon to fire, confident that even Inuz, known as the Divine Shield, can't withstand it. As the cannon fires, Nor shockingly steps up and deflects the massive attack. Darius and his troops are stunned, believing the weapon malfunctioned, so Darius orders another shot. Nor, realizing the Empire's intent to annihilate the Clay Kingdom, is urged by Inuz to flee, but she and Lin sense that Nor has something else in mind. Nor plans to distract the army, giving the others a chance to escape, relying on his well-practiced ability to run away, honed through years of evading danger. Lin assists him with a controlled wind blast, launching Nor across the battlefield. He uses his parry ability to deflect the Empire's attacks, causing chaos and disarming troops as he zips around. Darius watches in disbelief as his army crumbles under Nor's assault. Nor even parries the giant shields, defying logic, and continues his chaotic advance, terrifying Darius. As Nor approaches him again, Darius realizes with horror that Nor was the man standing next to Lin earlier. Darius, panicked, tries to fight back with his powerful armor and sword, but Nor effortlessly bypasses him, leaving Darius to be battered by his own cannons. As Nor continues to devastate the army, Darius finally recognizes the weapon. Nor is wielding the legendary Black Blade of Clay, a dungeon relic he covets. This sword, made of an unknown metal and too heavy for any normal human, was once wielded by the mighty King Clay, but even he needed 2 hands to use it. Yet Nor casually tosses the sword over his shoulder, further terrifying Darius. Realizing that Nor has single-handedly destroyed his entire army, Darius, now fearing for his life, wets himself and flees on horseback, desperate to escape Nor's wrath. Nor found himself caught in the chaos of battle, struggling to fend off a relentless army. As he parried weapon after weapon, he noticed an old man nearby, dressed in golden armor that even adorned his horse. The old man looked shocked, but Nor had no time to ponder who he was. He continued deflecting the soldiers' weapons into the sky, trying to avoid a full-on attack. When he bumped into the old man again, Nor realized the man wasn't a threat and focused on keeping the army at bay. He was concerned, however, that the old man might get hurt if he stayed on the battlefield. Exhausted and nearing his limit, Nor began coughing up blood, hoping his friends had escaped. Just as he prepared for the end, a familiar attack obliterated the surrounding soldiers. Though Nor struggled to recall the name, he recognized the skill. It was Gilbert, who was astonished at the devastation Nor had caused single-handedly. To Nor's surprise, his old instructor Sig had also arrived, taking command of the battlefield with ease. Nor watched in awe as Sig and Gilbert cleared the remaining enemies, demonstrating the power that Nor had always aspired to achieve. Other heroes joined the fray, with the old wizard showcasing his mastery over earth magic, while a white-haired warrior healed surviving enemies, offering them a chance for redemption. Nor was amazed to recognize his former instructors, grateful to see them again. After the battle, Lin healed Nor, restoring his strength, though he was now starving. An interrogation revealed that the enemy had exhausted all their forces, including a dragon, and had been utterly defeated. The emperor, confident in his army, had even appeared on the battlefield but was forced to flee. When Nor described the golden armor, the wizard identified it as orichalcum, high-grade equipment that supported a vast array of skills, explaining how the emperor managed to escape. The wizard lamented their inability to catch the emperor before he reached the fortress at the border, but Nor proposed a daring plan, using the dragon to pursue him. The wizard was stunned by the idea, never having imagined seeing such a legendary beast up close. San, another familiar face, began healing the dragon, amazed at how much Nor had grown. Nor reassured the wizard, who was skeptical about the plan, by mentioning Rollo's involvement. However, Rollo himself admitted to lacking confidence, causing the wizard to panic as the dragon started to wake up. As the dragon stirred, Nor sensed its anger, a skill he had honed during his time in the mountains. The dragon craved revenge, and Rollo, surprised by Nor's insight, ordered the beast to prepare for flight. Nor was taken aback when the girls insisted on joining the mission, wanting to protect Rollo as he controlled the dragon. Despite his fear of heights, Nor knew he had to follow through with his own plan. The group was joined by Karu, Nor's thief class instructor, who would conceal their presence. Just then, the king and Rain arrived, with Rain volunteering to lead the mission. Nor was surprised to see Rain take responsibility for a previous mistake, while the king entrusted Nor with his children's safety. As they prepared to depart, the heroes discussed whether to reveal the truth to Nor. Sig, now inspired by Nor's abilities, believed it was unnecessary, realizing that Nor had surpassed them all. As they flew on the dragon, they spotted the emperor nearing the imperial capital's defenses. Although concealed, they knew crossing into enemy territory would be dangerous. Lin noticed the emperor's rapid approach, and the heroes considered retreating. However, Ina, usually reserved, suggested annihilating the area to stop the emperor's escape. Shocked but understanding the urgency, Rain granted her permission. Ina unleashed her power, destroying the enemy's defenses and securing their escape route. Determined to end the war, the heroes pursued the emperor, even if it meant attacking the imperial capital. Lin, admiring Nor's greatness, declared that they would show the empire the consequences of their actions. Meanwhile, Nor, still struggling with his fear of heights, braced himself for the battle ahead. The emperor returns to his empire, furious after a major defeat. He blames his army for failing to use the advanced weaponry he provided. Just then, terror spreads through the ranks as they realize the Dragon of Calamity, believed to be long dead, is headed straight for the empire. The emperor is in disbelief reviving such a beast is impossible. But the presence of Sane, a healer with unmatched magic, makes him suspect that a demon folk must be aiding their enemy. Desperately, he calls for his monster tamer, LWD, only to learn he's away on business. In a panic, the emperor assumes LWD has betrayed him and commands his general to devise a plan. Ignoring pleas from his aides, the emperor decides to use the empire's most powerful weapon, Karanis, despite it being untested and unstable. The weapon draws energy from the entire city, and a colossal beam is fired. However, Nor, a mysterious figure, suddenly leaps in and deflects the beam, saving the empire but accidentally causing it to destroy the city's mana furnaces. Meanwhile, the general reveals a plan to end the emperor's reign. As the emperor begs for his life, Nor bursts in, unknowingly protecting him, though in his confusion, he causes the emperor more harm than good. Nor doesn't even recognize the emperor, and when the guards assume he's trying to protect him, Nor insists there's been a misunderstanding. The general explains that they need to offer the emperor's head to the enemy to avoid a greater conflict. However, Rain, another key figure, intervenes, stating that the emperor must live to atone for his crimes. He lists the victims of the war, reminding everyone of the devastation caused under the emperor's rule. Rain declares that if the emperor wants forgiveness, he must suffer as much as those who died in the conflict. Nor, meanwhile, is treated for his wounds and reflects on the damage caused by the deflected beam. Rain declares the war over, with both nations focusing on rebuilding. The emperor will step down, and his 10-year-old grandchild will take his place, with guardians known as the Circuit of 10 appointed to guide him. Nor scolds the Circuit of 10 for attacking an old man, and they apologize for the misunderstanding. As Nor prepares to leave, the general introduces himself as Randus and offers to help Nor in the future. Nor, still feeling guilty about the damage, offers to assist the Empire, but Randus assures him there were no injuries. With the Dragon of Calamity now calm, Nor and his group head home, though Nor's fear of heights is apparent during the journey. Upon returning, Nor is offered a reward for his efforts but refuses, asking only that the king allow Rollo, a demon folk, to live in the capital and lead a normal life. Despite the tensions this could cause, the king agrees, admiring Nor's selflessness. Rollo is overcome with emotion at the kindness shown to him and begins a new chapter of his life, filled with hope and gratitude. Nor stood before the familiar sight of the guild, memories flooding back as he stared at the signboard. It had been 15 years since he last stood there, a young man who had failed to learn even a single useful skill despite training at every school for months. Unable to register as an adventurer, Nor's journey had been filled with struggle, but here he was again. He remembered the shock on the guild master's face when he returned all those years ago, unable to even master a basic skill. His first attempt had been with Sig, who agreed to train him as a swordsman. Sig warned the training would be brutal, but Nor's determination was unwavering. Days turned into weeks, and though Nor couldn't learn any advanced techniques, Sig was impressed by his endurance. He even suspected Nor had hidden potential when he managed to perfectly describe one of Sig's most complex sword techniques despite not being able to replicate it. Next, Nor trained under Dan, a warrior. Despite his slim frame, Nor had shown surprising resilience, once standing his ground against a falling rock when others fled. After 3 months, though, Dan had to let Nor go. His physical growth wasn't enough to survive the remaining training, but Dan was sure Nor's effort would be rewarded someday. Miana, an expert archer, was next. She only intended to test Nor's aim, but he shocked her by hitting distant targets with pinpoint accuracy. When Nor's strength caused him to crush bow after bow, Miana resorted to having him throw stones. His incredible accuracy earned her respect, though she couldn't teach him to wield delicate weapons like a bow. Caro, a stealth trainer, was similarly impressed when Nor powered through traps and enemies using only his basic parry and rock-throwing skills. But after 3 months, it became clear Nor lacked the subtlety required for espionage. Still, Caro admired Nor's persistence and stamina, suggesting that one day Nor could be a valuable asset to the capital's intelligence agency. Even the wizard couldn't help Nor harness magic. He had no mana flowing through him. Yet, after months of training, Nor somehow managed to conjure dual flames, an achievement that had taken the wizard 50 years to learn. Despite his progress, magic was not Nor's calling either. Lastly, Nor sought out San, who specialized in miraculous magic. Nor was accepted only after proving his determination by enduring days of freezing cold outside San's door. Though he learned the low-level healing spell, Low Heal, it wasn't enough to become an adventurer. In the present, Nor was back at the capital, greeted by the guild master, who informed him the construction boss had been looking for him to help clear rubble and build temporary housing. Despite exhaustion from his long day during which he'd been thrown around by spells and did plenty of flying, Nor was eager to help. He got to work, reflecting on the strange, wild day he'd had. In the midst of it all, he casually saved someone's life, still dreaming of one day becoming an adventurer like the heroes in the stories his father once told him. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.